How to invest in real estate with zero book value. I love this. In this strategy, you're going to see properties that have no intrinsic value on it. This is a great way to make money, especially right now. The time to make money in this has never been, I haven't seen it like this in literally in 30 years. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to reveal to you exactly how to take advantage of these properties where people don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it. So see what everyone sees and do what no one else knows how to do and make big money. So as usual, the way you can make really, really big money in this is hit subscribe. It's a proven fact. The more times you hit subscribe or like, the more money you're going to make. Not really. Okay. It just helps with the videos and all that good stuff. Literally, it motivates the algorithms. Okay. There are little algorithms in there and they're lazy and they don't get motivated unless you subscribe. So do that. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into this. Now, what do I mean by zero book value? That means right now, this person may owe more than the property's worth, but it just doesn't have any book value to them, or it has zero book value as far as an asset. Okay, so I'll give you an example. There was a deal I was looking at last year. There's a big deal. Okay, big deal alert. Okay, this was a $2 million deal. Okay, upon doing research, I realized that this family had owned this property forever. Okay, she was older, sharp as a tack. Her husband had died, but they were wanting to sell the property. They were well off already. So the problem with it is they've already taken their depreciation on their property. So there is no book value to that property. It's just a dead asset sitting there. That's one way to describe that. So in other words, when I go into that situation is, I look at it and go, I know that she's got a problem. If I buy that property for $2 million, what does she have to do? Sing and dance? She doesn't need $2 million, okay? You know what she's gonna have to do? Reinvest that money. Boo-hoo, you say. No, trust me. There is an intrinsic value of money out there. Now she may not have the skill sets, she may have, whatever the case is, but now she's got $2 million. You don't wanna just sit it in the bank account. You don't want to put it in CDs. That doesn't make you any money. You literally are going to have to hire somebody to invest that money because right now it's got no book value. The asset of the real estate's going up, but there's no value of owning that real estate because you're not going to be able to depreciate it off your taxes. So my advantage in that situation is going, okay, wait a second. Instead of me paying you $2 million, how about if you carry the paper on it? Now the problem was, she couldn't get $2 million for the property. There's no way. It wasn't worth it. It was really worth probably 1.8 to 1.85. So I said to the family, wait a second, what if we do this? What if I offer you, instead of the 1.85 that we know that it's worth, because you're not getting any activity. This thing had been on the market for like 6 months. I go, what if I give you the full $2 million? You carry the paper on it. I'll make monthly payments on it, and we set up an interest rate on it that's more that you're going to get out in the market, and you still have the underlying asset on that. Do they win? 100%. Do I win? Yeah, I don't have to go through conventional financing on that, number one, because you start to get limited. When you start to go into that marketplace, the banks are going to limit how many properties that I can get. Number one. Number two is it's not going to go against my financials. So when somebody wants to pull up my whole debt ratio and all that goofy language out that a lot of people don't understand, okay, it's not going to show as a liability against my assets and everything else on that. So I'm going to look stronger on paper. They win, I win, everybody wins. Well, why would you pay more for the property? Because I have different views on the property. Let's say, for instance, I was going to subdivide that property out, but I wasn't going to do it right now. I want to tie the property up right now. I want to use it in its current form, create some income from that property as I'm getting it ready for something else. That is a classic example of how this is done all the time. So that would be one version of no book value. Another one is they just don't know what to do with the property. Okay, they want more than the property's worth. There's squabbling brothers and sisters or siblings on it. Somebody passed on the property. Excuse me, but it's a piece of crap. Nobody wants the property. And Susie Q over here, Sister Q, whatever her name is, think the property is worth $1 million. You know, reality Randy over here, the brother, knows that the property is only worth, you know, $800,000. Whatever the case might be, it doesn't matter about the numbers. It's irrelevant. Okay, what you can do is satisfy everybody on this deal. So in this situation, I would go in and go, okay, I'm looking at the property and I'm going, yeah, this property has a potential to be worth a lot more money, maybe $1 million, but not right now in its current condition. So at this point, I'm going to have to go into the property and look at it and go, what's it going to take meticulously? What's it going to take to get this property worth X number of dollars? And let's just use for this example $1 million because we already started using those numbers. And again, it doesn't matter what those numbers are. It could be 200,000, it could be $500,000. I don't care what it's going to be worth. The experience is the same. So I would have to go in there and go, okay, right now, if I look at that property, I bring my contractors in there and they say, hey, in order to get this property up to after rehab value, rehab cost, it's going to cost $150,000. Let's just use that example. So if, you know, Susie over here thinks it's worth $1 million and reality Randy here thinks it's worth 800,000, it's somewhere in between. So in all reality, this property is worth about 850 retail, but I have to put 150 in it to get it up to the $1 million that she thinks it's worth. Okay, so that's how we come up with wholesale on this property. Wholesale on this property would be probably about $700,000. Well, why not 850? Because you got to leave some meat on the bone. So what I could do is I could go into this situation going, look, it ain't worth $2 million. It's not worth 800. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay you market value on this right now of say 850, maybe even $900,000 if you all carry the note on it. I'll give you a little bit of a down payment on this property. I'll buy the property. In this case, I know I've got something on my side. That's right, time. Two factors. I'm going to put some money into that property. I'm going to fix it up, make it look good. And let's say that there's a way that I'm going to rent this property that is going to cash flow. Because again, all they're doing is squabbling about the price. They're not looking at the potential of this asset because they have no real estate experience. So I'm going in there going, oh my gosh, I can make enough cash flow where this is going to pay me 15 to 20% cash on cash return later on. Remember, I don't have a whole lot of money into this deal. Okay, I may have $50,000 or $60,000, and then I'll make some monthly payments to you. So I've leveraged the real estate. Now the real estate doesn't pay them; it starts paying me. And now that I get this property up to speed on what I'm doing on it, now it's paying really good money. A year or so later on, they're getting their so everybody's happy. You know, she thinks it's worth this. We kind of met halfway. He thinks it's worth here. He got more than he wanted. And in the meantime, payments are being paid out. What happens to the value of that property? That's right. It starts to go up in value because now it's creating what? Cash flow. Cash flow is king when it comes to investment properties. So now that this property is creating all this cash flow, now I can go to a conventional lender out there and I can get it refinanced and take these people out. But I'm going to tell you this, if it's cash flowing and they're holding the paper, I want to hold that as long as possible because the other factor that happened in this, it's not on my financial reporting on that. So it doesn't look like a liability when it comes to my debt on there. So if I do have another deal come up, they're not looking at it, they're going, yeah, what are you doing with that property over here? What's the debt ratio? And they start sniffing around that one. And it slows down other deals that I've got going on that. So there's all sorts of different ways to skin this cat, so to speak. You know, I think somebody needs to look that up because I don't know how, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Who's ever skinning cats anyways? But it's a good analogy to this because, again, I'm hoping that I just stimulated you a little bit. There's motivation on all parts. And please don't take offense to this. If you aren't in this situation, you know, they don't need the money. Not everybody needs the money because I don't know what I'm going to do with this money. Okay, if you gave me the $2 million, well, how about if I give you 9.5%, 10% right now? I'm listening. So An example would be another one that I used in another video where the couple is living, they don't even want to move. They're like, if you buy the property directly from us, can we stay here for at least a year? I said, how about 2 years? They're like, really? I go, yeah, you can stay here for 2 years. What I can do is charge you rent back and I'll give you the asking price that you're wanting. Nobody's buying the property. It's literally been sitting there for a year. But that property is worth a heck of a lot more to me in 24 months. They're paying the rent, I've tied up the property, and everybody's win all the way around. There are so many ways to do this. So this is how you make money with this. There's so much more that I can teach you on this, and I want to, for free. Click the link down below. I got some brand new videos on this, and sign up for those and enjoy the training. This is my gift to you. God bless, good luck, and we'll see you in the winner's circle.